things haven't been going Chelsea's way for the last year. And when Chelsea signed Cole Palmer for £45 million, there was a generally negative response. A lot of people saying, terrible signing, English Kai Havertz, what a silly signing, 45 million, is this money laundering and all of that. But Cole Palmer has been Chelsea's best player this season. Cole Palmer has been a breath of fresh air at Chelsea. He has been phenomenal. And people were criticising Chelsea scouts. People were really negative when Chelsea signed Cole Palmer. But he was man of the match in the Arsenal game, man of the match in the Spurs game, has got goals, got assists, but it's more than his statistics. His ability to carry the ball, his ability to pick out a long pass, his vision, his IQ. He's almost in this playmaking role. He's almost like the most exciting, best thing at Chelsea Football Club right now. And he came in as a £45 million signing with no goals that a lot of people were doubting. And he's proving everybody wrong. There was a few people saying, this is a baller. Look what he did at City. This is the right kind of signing that Chelsea need to be making instead of those stars. But Chelsea signed Casado, Chelsea signed Lavia. They got loads and loads of hype. When Chelsea signed Cole Palmer, people were like, this isn't Wirtz. This isn't Musiala, but Cole Palmer has been Chelsea's best player this season. And we're going to talk about that Spurs performance. We're going to talk about Cole Palmer. We're going to do some analysis on the player. Versus Spurs, he got a goal, he got an assist, he was absolutely phenomenal. And I have to say that penalty, Vicario was unbelievable. We went the right way, but the penalty was so good that Vicario couldn't get near him. 71 touches, one key pass, one big chance. And obviously, versus Spurs, it was against 9 men. But when you watch Chelsea versus Spurs, Chelsea weren't very good. They weren't very convincing. And I thought, for Spurs to have 9 men and Chelsea to not be capitalising on this, I thought Chelsea were poor. But I looked at Cole Palmer and I thought, he is a level above the rest of the squad. He is a quality player. And, 4 out of 5 dribbles yesterday, 6 out of 9 ground duels, 3 out of 4 long balls, very good accuracy with that. And, he was the bright spark in that Chelsea side. And I saw a tweet from Ethan that really inspired me to make this video talking about Cole Palmer and what he's done sort of at Chelsea. And he's saying that this 45 million pound price tag that everyone was kind of laughing at, he's not scored a goal, he's worse than Kai Havertz. Everyone's kind of laughing at it. It's maybe looking like to be a bargain. Ethan said a very good point here. You can tell he's a student of Pep Guardiola in his technical qualities alone. Empathy in every action/weight of pass, orients his body well to receive the ball, positional intelligence to sniff out pockets of space, calculated risk-taking, elegant ball carrier, see his future as an interior, very much a wing fielder. Not enough burst to be an elite out-and-out touchline winger, which is probably his weakness. He's just not quick, but he utilises his creativity and his technical ability so well that he doesn't need to be quick. And plenty of top midfield qualities to offer in a central role. Possesses that in swing and cross from the right half space too, which we're going to dive into further in this video. Perfect sided right 8 for Chelsea long-term, offering positional rotations, whoever the winger is, preferably a player comfortable on the inside, ton of final ball capacity. And he makes a brilliant point about Cole Palmer. He is a guy that, he might not be the fastest, he might not be your quick counter-attacking winger, but he's a guy that's really good in that half space, cutting inside as sort of a wide-sided right number 8, and he's very good at cutting in on his left foot and swinging in a great cross and swinging in a shot. And we're going to talk about his ball striking, which is something we saw in the Man City Academy days that we haven't seen so much at Chelsea yet. And we're going to talk about his creativity. But this is obviously him sort of in terms of like his percentile rankings. And as you can see, things like pass completion, 98% percentile, progressive carries, 90% percentile, which makes him so unique. For a guy that predominantly plays right wing, can play left wing, can play in the middle, can play centre forward. But for a guy that's predominantly a winger, his progressive carries makes him so unique as well. Touches inside the penalty box very high up. And even things like shots, assists, he's still in one of the highest percentiles. For a guy that didn't have many minutes at City, for a guy that is still so young, to go to a Chelsea side that was unstable and sort of be putting up these numbers already, absolute credit to him. He's been absolutely phenomenal. And this is the point I made. We've seen that Cole Palmer has now got 7 goals in his last 7 games, goal and assist versus Tottenham, assist versus Blackburn, a goal versus Arsenal, goal and assist versus Burnley, and a goal and an assist versus Brighton. We know this season he's only started 8 games and has got 9 goal contributions. That's including his City minutes as well. But Cole Palmer took a massive risk. He left the most settled team in Europe. He left the Man City side, which Phil Foden's been very safe and comfortable in, that, could make him play better because he'd have better players around him. It's a very safe option to stay at Manchester City, even though you'll get less minutes. It's very safe because you know that you're going to be in a good system with good players. And he went to a Chelsea side that lacked goals. They weren't scoring goals, where, things hadn't been good. And it could have been, it was a massive risk for him because, a lot of people have come to Chelsea. Even Sterling went from City to Chelsea and wasn't particularly convincing for Chelsea last season, although Sterling is definitely Chelsea's best winger and probably best player after Palmer this season. Sterling's been phenomenal this season, but it was a big risk going to that Chelsea side in that rebuild after such an unstable season last year. And he's gone there and he's absolutely shone. And, that's a credit to his mentality. I think a credit to his personality, which isn't something we're really going to speak about this season, but you can tell he's got the right mindset. He's got his head screwed down as a kid. And this season so far for Chelsea, and he's not even started all their games because he joined right at the end of August, most big chances created, most goals and assists, most key passes per 90 for them this season. He's been brilliant for Chelsea, and this was his statistics before the Spurs game. So you've got to add that onto that. The impact he's had on Chelsea has been phenomenal. So we're going to talk about Cole Palmer, the kind of player he is. 5 goals, 4 assists this season in 788 minutes. That's a goal contribution a game. If you can see his position played statistics here, he can play as a right wing, right mid, centre mid, attacking midfielder. He played centre forward versus Arsenal as well. His best position is a right winger that gets in that kind of half space and can cut inside. And because Poch likes his fullbacks to be really wide, that gives Palmer the opportunity to be a bit more narrower. And that's where he can create with those in-swinging crosses. And hopefully we'll see this more at Chelsea, is Cole Palmer using his ability to shoot. He's got really good ball striking ability. He's cutting on his left side and shoot, because I think that could be a lethal aspect for him as well. But so far, he's actually registered more big chances in the league than the likes of Odegaard, Szoboszlai, Saka, Paqueta, Alexander-Arnold, Kulusevski, Havertz, Foden, McAllister, and Mitoma. He's also scored a goal versus Tottenham Hotspur at their stadium before Man City have as well. So what makes Palmer stand out this season for me? For me, what made him stand out in that Tottenham game, what's made him stand out when I've watched Chelsea, because I haven't watched loads and loads of Chelsea. I'm not a Chelsea fan, so I only really watched the big games they were in, like Arsenal, Tottenham. But what made him stand out for me was his vision and execution in his passing. You can see where the arrow is, and I would show you the video, but I don't want to get in trouble with copyright. He picks out Jackson well to get him his hat-trick. Obviously, Spurs playing a 9-man high line helped this, and, Chelsea were actually onside for a change. But Palmer's ability to sort of pick out the play over the top from there and play it into Jackson was brilliant. And, a lot of people were saying, oh, he's no better than Havertz, but Chelsea fans are looking at it now thinking we sold Havertz for 65 million and we bought in Palmer for 20 million less. And Palmer this season done more than Havertz did last season. Palmer's already got more goals and more assists than Havertz this season. He's created more chances. He's had more successful take-ons, more successful passes. More interceptions, more shots on target, and 141 less minutes than Havertz. Chelsea are thinking we sold Havertz for 65 million. We replaced him with Palmer, who's younger, who looks better. It looks like they've hit the jackpot because Havertz is obviously struggling at Arsenal. And, why was Palmer signed? Because of what he did at Man City. A lot of people were like, why are you spending 45 million on a guy that's never scored a goal? But it was because of what he'd done at Man City in his youth days, where he was just as exciting as Phil Foden. He was just as exciting as Phil Foden at 18, 19 years of age in that City squad. And, Phil Foden's a good player, but he just doesn't get those minutes for City. And, if Phil Foden had gone to Chelsea, could he have shined more? I'm not sure, actually, because of Chelsea's instability. That is irrelevant. But what we know about Cole Palmer was he's very versatile and mouldable, which probably made him appeal to Pochettino. He was like, this guy can play centrally, this guy can play on the wing. I kind of want a winger that can play centrally because I like my wingers to kind of be in the half spaces because I like my fullbacks wide. And because he's so young and impressionable and so versatile, I could mould him into the player I want. I could play him centre forward. I can play him in the half space. I could play him out wide. Cole Palmer's at that age where he can really sort of be moulded into a player. His obviously best position is definitely right wing, where he can cut in on that left foot. But when I say right wing, it's more of a narrower right wing position. Because, as mentioned earlier, in that narrow right-wing possession, he has the ability to sort of cut inside him and play that sort of cross in, that in-swinging cross, or have a shot, which we haven't seen so much of at Chelsea yet. but he excelled at Man City because of his ball striking ability to cut in on his left foot and shoot. He actually averaged 2.63 shots per 90, which was in the 99th percentile among midfielders, and 3.85 shot creating actions per 90, which was in the 92nd percentile per midfielders while he was at Manchester City. And his ball striking, his decision making, and his technique is what made him stand out at such a young age at Man City and made Pep Guardiola take a big chance on him. And again, I would show you the clip, but copyright. But this is just a sort of an arrow here of where Cole Palmer was. He would shoot and it would go in the back of the net. In his Man City days, he would just shoot. It would go in the back of the net. So why does this work under Pochettino? I've mentioned this before. He's versatile. He fits in well. We've seen him play centre forward. We've seen him play attacking midfield. We've mostly seen him play sort of right wing, but almost very sort of in the half space, cutting in a lot of right wing, drifting centrally. And we know that Pochettino, the way he plays, he wants his fullbacks to drift really wide, and he likes, his wide players to be able to invert centrally and become almost like a second attacking midfielder, number 10. And that is exactly the kind of system that Cole Palmer shines in, because he's not got that blistering pace, but what Cole Palmer does have is a very good IQ, a very good ability to swing and crosses, very good ball striking ability, and the technical qualities, because he's a Man City player, to create something out of nothing. And I think that's why he shines so much for Chelsea. And this is a big example of that. I think this was in the Brentford game. He put in this sort of swinging cross into Cucurella, as you can see here. And Cucurella obviously didn't score, but he swung in crosses there and just created something out of nothing into those spaces. So not only can he do the long ball, like we saw the Nicholas Jackson assist, but we've seen a lot for Chelsea. He's been doing these sort of shorter passes into dangerous areas. And we've seen him even do some quick 1-2s. And he's been, the guy that seems to make things happen for Chelsea, seems to progress the ball forward, carry the ball forward, get the game rolling for Chelsea. He's been phenomenal. And statistically, if you compare him to other right wingers among you can see his through passes per 90, 1.3 is miles higher than anyone else's, and his accurate progressive passes is 87.84%, which again is one of the highest among players on the right wing. We see long passes. He averages 1.84 long passes a game, which is higher than everyone else, and he's been doing that a lot for Chelsea as well. And we're going to end up with a little summary on Cole Palmer and why he's been so good. He's been good because he likes to progress the ball. He likes to switch the ball on top of being a winger. He's not just like a winger that runs at people and is fast like a traditional winger. He cuts inside. He creates things. He can rotate positions, attacking rotations for Poch. He got a very good assist for Jackson yesterday. He's known to be a good crosser. He's always known to be a good crosser. He seems incredibly mature for his age, not just on the pitch, but off the pitch, his personality. His ball carrying ability and his ability to progress the ball make him really unique for a winger. His versatility, his ability to play central makes him really unique and technically good for a winger, which is definitely what a manager wants. And while he has a weakness of lack of pace, it's not like he's ridiculously slow. He just utilizes it well and knowing his game and going into those half spaces and creating and being an outlook as well. And he looks best as sort of a wide 8/right wing for Chelsea, but you can see he's moldable, adaptable. He's played a number of positions for Chelsea, and he's been fantastic. So that was my analysis on Cole Palmer. He's been very good for Chelsea. Let me know who you'd like me to make an analysis on next. Thank you for watching. See you next time. Bye.